All right. I pushed the go live button for the fourth or fifth time, I think. So I'm here again today to read through my story. This is my brainstorming session. I'm looking for help, looking for advice on where to go next with these books that I've written. And you can go to my YouTube page. It's the same handle as my Twitch if you want to look at past streams. I am recording them and putting them on the YouTube page. I don't think I can put them on here. I've looked into it, but I don't think I can. And right now I'm just reading through the 6 different books I've written from the Zoe's Life in Zoomington series. To read it out loud, I've caught several grammatical errors that I will be going back and looking at. I'm taking notes as I do it. I'm not going through and marking every grammar error right now. I am just taking overall notes for the whole story. I want to read through the whole series that I've written so far and then go back and maybe change up some of the overall family dynamics and see about that. And we got Miles in here. Hey, buddy. My dog just came in and he's booping at me, so I gotta. Hi, buddy. Oh, hello. You can hear them tip tapping down. Hey, it's okay. We're also watching another dog, and she's very needy. Hello. She's very, very sweet. All right. Gonna read. This is my, I believe, 4th book of the series. Gonna read through it, see how it reads. As all of them are, I'm sure this is just as cheesy and easy. This one is about the holidays. So really, each of these, I kept it to topics that I love. I love the holidays. The one before this is all about Halloween. Now, this one is more Christmas time holidays, but I did call them different names instead of trying to represent, because I'm all about representation and trying to figure out all the different holidays. This one I just figured I wanted to make up some new ones and talk about different traditions for these made up holidays. So this one is called The Holidays Are Here. What a wonderful time of year it is in Zoomington. Holiday time. In Zoomington's, many families celebrate the holiday Quintaloo's Eve. There are many traditions for Quintaloo's Eves. One of those traditions is families and friends drawing names out of a hat for exchanging gifts. 5 gifts are given to the person whose name is drawn. The 5 gifts include something new, something old, something useful, something bold, and something silly. Some of the other traditions include contests for decorating yards with lights, neighborhood recipe swaps for fruity desserts and hot teas, and on Quintaloo's Eve, families enjoy soups, salads, and snickerdoodles with spumoni ice cream. Smells of fruit cobblers and cinnamon spice teas fill the air during this time of year. So it's a very cozy holiday, much like Christmas time, but just different. The Mizzy-Meyers enjoy taking part of all the traditions of Quintaloo's Eve. A few weeks before Quintaloo's Eve, the Mizzy-Meyers were enjoying a game of cards and talking about upcoming events. When do we get to start decorating the yard? Xander asked. Soon. Your mother and I were thinking about this weekend. How does that sound? Replied Mr. Mizzy-Meyer. Zoe, Zach, and Xander all smiled and nodded with excitement. Speaking of Quintaloo's Eve, said Mrs. Mizzy-Meyer, I think it's about time we drew the names for our gift exchange. Now this announcement really received squeals, and the Mizzy-Meyer siblings jumped up and down. Yay! I am so excited. I am ready to start finding gifts, said Zoe eagerly. The Mizzy-Meyers finished their card game, and Mrs. Mizzy-Meyer brought in the Quintaloo's Eve Mizzy-Meyer gift mug. The gift mug is a huge mug that has been passed down for generations in the Mizzy-Meyer family. The mug is decorated with fun winter images of snowmen, ice skating, and sledding, and was painted by Zoe's really great grandfather. Before we get started, I have a surprise, said Mrs. Mizzy-Meyer. I'm seeing all these various grammar issues, by the way, just not going to go and do all that right now. Joining us this year for Quintaloo's Eve will be Gran and Grandpa Mizzy and your Aunt Olive, Uncle Peter, and cousins Jack and Charlotte. This third announcement made everyone start talking excitedly at once and hug one another. This is going to be such a fun Quintaloo's Eve, said Zach. I hope I get to give Uncle Peter gifts. Your Aunt Olive and I have made sure to split the family names Split the names of the families up so that everyone is able to give and receive gifts. Remember, it's a Quintaloo's Eve tradition to keep your person secret until all gifts are open, said Mrs. Mizzy-Meyer. The Mizzy-Meyers drew their names and continued to talk about all they would do when their family arrived. The next day, Zoe and Jane were playing in Jane's room, and Zoe noticed a stack of letters on Jane's desk. Zoe asked, "What are those letters for?" "Oh," said Jane, "those are my thankful cards for the Festival of Benevol." Confused, Zoe asked, "The Festival of what?" "The Festival of Benevol," said Jane. "Haven't you heard of it? It's a holiday that happens this time of year. In Dolton, we would join others and spend 1 week volunteering at different places around the city. My family especially likes to help kids with their homework and play with animals at the animal shelter. For the Festival of Benevol, there are lots of parties at which money is raised to give to places that are helping others. We also send out thankful cards to family and friends. In these cards, you write everything about that person that makes you grateful for him or her. At the end of the week, it's tradition to have breakfast for dinner and exchange your grateful cards and some gifts." Zoe's eyes got big. "Wow, what a neat holiday. Do you also celebrate Quintaloo's Eve?" "We haven't ever celebrated that before, but I keep hearing about it since moving to Zoomington. It makes me sad and a little homesick because not many people celebrate the Festival of Benevol here," replied Jane sadly. Zoe thought for a few moments. "What if we combined our holidays and celebrated with each other? We could call it Benevol Eve." Jane smiled. "That's a fun idea. Let's do it." For the rest of the afternoon, Zoe and Jane planned for the first ever Benevol Eve. The day before the first ever Benevol Eve, Jane was pacing back and forth in the living room with a serious look on her face. "What's with the serious face, Janie?" Mr. Buffer asked. "I'm still not sure what to get Zoe for our Benevol Eve. It's our first time celebrating, and I want to get her the perfect gift," replied Jane. Jane continued, "We decided that I would get her something new and something old, and she would get me something useful and something bold. We are also writing each other grateful cards and volunteering at the animal shelter tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to make apple crumble and drink hot chocolate. It will be the perfect day, unless I can't think of a gift. I got her new bright blue laces for her tennis shoes, but I can't think of something old." "What if we take a trip back in time?" stated Mr. Buffer. He continued, "Let's explore the attic and go through the old trunks of your grandparents and see what we can find." Mr. Buffer and Jane went into the attic, and Jane was amazed at all of the old fun items for them to sort through. In the first trunk were old letters, stamps, and coins from many different cities and countries. The next trunk was filled with old and colorful clothes from all around the world. "I have an idea," squealed Jane. She shared the idea with her father, and they put the final touches on her Benevol Eve gifts. The first annual Benevol Eve finally arrived, and both Zoe and Jane were bursting with excitement. They started off the festivities by volunteering at the local animal shelter. Jane and Zoe fed hamsters, pet kittens, and played with puppies. After the animal shelter, they went home to prepare the apple crumble. While the apple crumble was bubbling away in the oven, that's what they call ovens in Zoomington. They call it the overs. Jane and Zoe exchanged gifts. They both opened a gift at the same time and squealed when they discovered they'd gotten. I say squealed a lot. That's a note I need. It's kind of a weird word. So here's my notes. Stop saying squealed so much. Good note. They both opened the gift at the same time and laughed when they discovered they had gotten each other the same gift. Jane gave Zoe bright blue shoelaces, and Zoe gave Jane lime green shoelaces. They each quickly put on their new laces. Zoe's useful gift for Jane was an arts organizer for all of Jane's crafting materials, and Jane was very happy with the gift. With a smile, Jane said, "We need to go into my attic to see your something old gift." With help from Mr. Buffer, the girls scrambled into the attic, and on one of the trunks was a huge bow. Zoe opened it and was delighted to see all of the old clothes. "I thought we could use these to dress up and pretend. We can travel anywhere in the world with these clothes." Zoe gave Jane a big hug and kept saying how much she loved it and couldn't wait to play with the clothes. Jane and Zoe's final Benevol Eve event was to enjoy the apple crumble and hot chocolate while reading each other's grateful cards. Before opening her card, Jane said, "I'm so happy we're best friends. It means so much to me that we came together and blended our holidays so we could celebrate together." Zoe smiled and raised her mug of hot chocolate to the first ever Benevol Eve and to many, many more. Yeah, Like I keep saying, cheesy cheese. Bookend information for this one. If you haven't watched any of these others, my whole thing with this series is I wanted to create a really silly world, very cheesy, and then sprinkle in health and wellness. And so I figured a way to do that would be to have kind of a kind of at the end, like extra. If anybody ever watched Arthur, one of my favorites, I love that show so much, such a good one. They would have those fun interludes with kind of a learning moment. So that's sort of what this is. So this bookend information for this one is called Healthier Holidays. The holidays are a fun time filled with family, friends, and often plenty of food. Did you notice that some of the holiday traditions mentioned in the story may be different from traditions you are used to? On Quintaloo's Eve, families enjoy a feast of soups and salads. What if for your next holiday gathering you made a tasty and healthy salad or soup? You can fill a salad or soup with colorful vegetables and a healthy, hearty protein such as beans. During the Festival of Benevol, families take time to volunteer and give back to the community. You could gather your family and friends during the holiday season to clean up a local park. Not only would you be doing something good for others, you'd also be getting some activity. Find fun ways to have a happy and healthy holiday season. So something else that I noticed in this book that I've already noted for the others is that so far every single family is mom, dad, child, or just child for Jane's situation. So the Mizzy Myers family is grandpa, aunt, uncle, cousin, boy, girl. And so that's something I would like to change up in general is, so this one, so I've got my notes, stop saying squealed so much, too many times. I think it's in other books too. Stop saying squealed so much. Also the Mizzy Meyer extra family structure. Maybe change it up. I don't know what that's going to look like. Just maybe change it up. Because not every family is mom, dad, child. Maybe they don't have children. Maybe it's one person. Who knows? Maybe it's two moms. Maybe it's two dads. Maybe it's one dad. Maybe it's an aunt and their nephew. I don't know. But I do want to change that up because it is a little, I've seen it now. This is me. Well, especially the first book I wrote in college, and perspective, well, hopefully your perspective grows as you age and you realize your mindset expands instead of narrows. And for me, absolutely, it's so important to me to keep in mind diversity and different backgrounds, respecting that as much as I can. So I understand that in the past me might not have thought about that as much, and it's been, let's see, I keep doing this calculation every time and I forget it every time. So it's been about 14 years or so since I've written these, and some of these are more recent developments, but I don't really remember when I wrote these either. Anyways, my brain is more about looking at that diversity side of things now, which I'm very thankful for. I'm glad I have that to think about now. Or I'm glad I have the ability to see that and think about that now. So all in all, maybe this is a reason why I haven't gotten these published yet, because now I can go back and be like, wow, these could use more diversity and more, because I was trying to have diversity by maybe the people being all different colors, shapes, sizes, but I'm seeing other ways there could be more diversity. And I mean, it's very Hallmarky feeling right now, which I don't mind Hallmarky feeling. I just think there could be more. Could be better. Let's see. I do believe I have 2 more stories to read out loud. 1, yep, 2, just 2 more. And then I'm going to go back and, especially with the bigger overarching changes, like the family structures, let me pull up my notes. I also noticed in the very first book, I had a lot of men, like wise men, weathermen. I use that. So that's another way that I want to be more thinking about changing those and not just using those type of older phrases. I do think my very first book was very descriptive at times. And I think that one definitely needs some cutting down on some words. I notice it too while I'm reading where I said dad, and then dad continued. So things like that where I can cut down on that as well because I don't need that. However, what I'm hoping is that an editor, I would be able to pitch my overall idea to an editor and then they could help me with that because that's certainly not my forte. Ooh, let me see. How many words is this one? Including, for some reason, this mouse is very odd. Boop, boop, boop. Go back. Okay. It's tools, word count. Okay, this one is a teeny bit longer, which I thought I was feeling that because I'm thinking about I want them all the books to be around about the same length. So if a kid or adult, whoever is reading it, and so they're not one's crazy longer than the others, or perhaps if these turn into some sort of video series where maybe I will be able to draw the cartoons, which is another part of this, which I want to research is some sort of cartoon drawing help. I love drawing in general. I'm very good at copying. It's not my strength to create something out of nothing unless it's very just like shapes or abstract. Now, if it's more like a human type character, I probably need some help with that. But I can also think about it. I'm not that bad, but I think I'd like some cartoon drawing 101 help. Something I enjoy. I love drawing cartoony type things. Not a realist type of drawer at all, unless I can follow along with the instructor. I'm also wanting to, like I mentioned, research YouTube books or some sort of video outlet, because maybe that could be the medium that it goes to. I don't know. And the next two, so far, had a book. Let me go back. We've had 2 different holiday books. This one is more of a Christmassy, but they're not Christmas. It's Zoomington. Then I do have one on Halloween, because that one to me is people can enjoy it in different ways. And it's very cheesy. It's not the dark side of Halloween. This one is about remembering your imagination, not getting too caught up in technology. And then the first one is overall introduction of the world. And then the next 2 are, one is about recycling and just keeping Zoomington beautiful, which is another thing. As I mentioned, these are all topics that I really enjoy, so that's why I wrote about them and what I find important. And then another one on trying out for the band and try again, basically. And I also, in my very first video, I said, I think Jane plays it's a combination of a tuba and a piano. And I think I pronounced it tubiano. And I still think about that because it's like, I thought about that. It was one of those things where you did it and then you think about it a few hours later and you're like, wait, I said that wrong. So piano, tubiano. That's how I want it said. Anyways, that'll be in a couple streams from now. The next stream will be reading Keep Zoomington Clean. Well, this has again been super helpful for me to read through and take notes. Taking notes, taking names, doing all the things. My puppy's at my feet. Hey, buddy. He's kind of hiding from our house guest. Oh, she's right behind me. So I'm surrounded by puppies right now. You just can't see it. You just have to trust me. Well, like I said, I think that's about it for today. I will keep on reading through these, and I look forward to all your help and your thoughts and your comments. I I'm excited to keep doing this. I hope you have a great day.